Shabbat Shalom and welcome to Parashat Bamidbar. In the Parasha this week, we are told we have to count the people, make a census of the Jewish people. We have to count Bamidbar Shemot, the number of names. Now I wrote in the Maccabean and the Igeret an idea from Rav Shimshon Pinkus, which I think is a fundamental thing of Judaism, that we are not just numbers, and we're not just individuals. We are both individuals and communal people. We have to think of ourselves and look after ourselves. But we also have to understand how our actions and our efforts interact with those of the community. As you know, we've been closed for a while because of the COVID-19 outbreak. We had to close our shul. We took a very painful and difficult decision to stop daily services, Shabbat services. We even missed Pesach services. We've missed bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs. We've had to stop our services. The reason we did this is to preserve life, to make sure that those of us who have loved ones who are vulnerable to this, those of us who ourselves are vulnerable to this, are put in a position where we have the best chance of staying alive. This is the concept and the idea in the Torah, that we must preserve life. We must make sure that people stay alive. Even if there is a small amount of chance that someone will die from what we do, we have to make sure that we eliminate that possibility completely. So we closed the shul, and we're in a state of closed. The halachic presumption, the status that we find ourselves in, is one of closed. That is what's called in halakha chazakah. It's the presumptive legal status in which we find ourselves right now. So in order to break that chazakah of closed and to bring ourselves back to shul as a normal services to resume, we have to make sure that the preservation of life is taken care of. So myself and Rabbi Solomon and Rabbi Posner from Dayan Elishul got together with Michael Levitt, our president, and Daryl Zulberg, the president of Dayan Elishul, to come up with a robust halachic plan, taking into account the medical situation, the scientific situation with COVID, and to understand how we're going to reopen the shul in a proper, halachically sound way that can ensure the best chance of preservation of life. Now, we know that COVID has an incubation period of up to 14 days. So, what we decided was that to ensure preservation of life, we would keep the shul closed for an extra 14 days after the rest of the country was let out from their lockdown. Bars, restaurants were opened, to see if there's a spike in cases. The last thing we want is for our shul or any shul to be involved or associated with any spike in coronavirus, because that's dangerous to people's lives. So we've decided to wait to make sure that there is not going to be a spike. And when, after 2 weeks, please God, there will not be a spike, we will reopen our shul for morning services. Shabbat services are harder to handle because of the lack of technology that we have available to us on Shabbat. So, on Shabbat, we'll wait another 2 weeks. Once we've got that sorted out, and no spikes, and a good, competent handling of the way we're doing things, we'll reopen for Shabbat as well, in accordance with the numbers that the government have given us. We are thinking Bamidbar Shemot, like it says in the parasha this week. We're thinking, as individuals, we're desperate to get back to shul. We need our Judaism, we need our connection, but we're also thinking with a communal thought. What is best for everybody? What can we achieve? How can we ensure that the most amount of life is preserved? That is what Judaism is. That's how halacha works. We make sure we thoroughly investigate every aspect to make sure that what we're doing is the right thing. And I believe that what we are doing to keep the shul closed for an additional 2 weeks is the right thing to do to preserve life and to ensure that we can come back to shul and stay back in shul and not have to leave again. Hashem should bless us all with good health and happiness. He should make sure that there is no spike in the COVID-19 here in Western Australia. I've written a special letter this week to Mark McGowan, the Premier, thanking him for all the efforts that he and his team have put in place. We are so grateful to them for all they've done in helping us, in helping our state overcome this terrible, terrible condition. We wish all of those who are still suffering with it around the world refuah shlema, a speedy recovery, and please God we'll all be together again soon. Shabbat Shalom.